to Everyone Racers,
a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of Lemmy Champ or Lucky Track Dog league you run.
SCCA or NASA, we don't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussion,
Tips, tricks,
as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing.
whether it's on the spot,
hella sweet,
Or we're lucky enough in Chrissy.
And Chrissy,
I give you just the tip.
we're sure you'll giggle a little.
And learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Tim.
And I'm mental.
I'm Gigablasting.
Alrighty.
Not just us. Good.
And we are Everyone Racers, and this is a Ford 385 Series V8 episode. Introduced in 1968, these engines came to replace the venerable FE Series big blocks by 1970. This new series marked a significant shift in Ford's engine design philosophy, particularly with its innovative canted valve poly-angle cylinder heads, which were a first for Ford and resembled those used in Chevy's big block engines. These heads, with their unique valve configuration, provided several advantages, including improved flow and enhanced durability. The 385 series engines were produced in two main displacements, 429 and 460 cubic inches. The Boss 429 was the pinnacle of the 385 series. Developed for NASCAR, this engine had to be installed in at least 500 street cars to qualify for racing, which led to its use in the 69 to 70 Boss 429 Mustang. The Ford 385 series V8 engines represent a significant chapter in Ford's performance history. From the base 429 and 460 engines to the high-performance Cobra Jet and the legendary Boss 429, these engines showcased innovative design, robust construction, and impressive performance. So unless you're running your 385 series on the street or on the track, grab your outdated bingo card and win some prizes. Or a hug at the next race, or maybe some leftover potato salad.
Tim,
You can.
if we were recording yesterday, like we often do on Tuesday, it would have been 429, which would have been even better.
Oh.
Oh,
Yep.
That's my fault.
Wait a minute. No, we're totally recording on 429.
Happy 429 day.
Happy 429 day.
No one knows.
so all those Cadillac fans out there, they'll appreciate the 429 day. That's good.
Sure.
No one else gets it anyway.
Nope. Okay. What you working on? Who wants to go?
I'll go. I'll go.
Okay, Timmy, you go.
I'm excited. I got a new truck. Yay.
Yay. Yay.
And most importantly, the Tim Burr, I must over research everything phase is over. So
Yes.
now I don't have to worry about that anymore. I bought
Great.
a tonneau cover, which is installed on the car. Put that on yesterday. I bought what Amy and I call the dog taco, the backseat big fold up things with the hard bottom, so you can just shove the dog in there who's been getting car sick. So we're working on that because we got a 4-day trip across the country coming up in a little under 4 weeks.
Okay.
So she's growing at an exponential rate. She's 18 pounds now and has got her second rounds of shots. So we should be able to get her outside.
I'm sure.
But other than that, I've been trying to. Oh, that'd be so good. It'd be so good. My.
I mean, you're the one who signed up
Neosporin.
to get a
Yeah.
puppy.
No,
So there's that.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it, but I'm running out of Neosporin and Band-Aids, so I'm ready.
Oh.
And then I'm just trying to get the garage cleaned up. The puppy came, at the tail end of my bathroom remodel, so I still got a bunch of crap laying around in there. So some really nice oak trim that we pulled off. Had all the nails pulled out so I can reuse it because it's like $400 in trim. So pulled all the nails out of that, got it sanded so we can get that primed and repainted white, and we'll be moving on. So kind of chipping away at those sort of things.
Chipping away.
Chipping. How about you, Chrissy? What have you been up to?
Oh, not working on cars or anything interesting, actually. We went to, Chris will talk a little bit about what we did before then, but a fellow racer, Scott McMichael, who runs with a couple of the teams out here. It was his 50th birthday, so we had a party. We hung out with some other fun race friends for a while, and then I had a party for the fam. So between cleaning and making food and for both these parties, I was just kind of spending the day in the house. But we did some other things. Chris, besides working on your favorite project, you can say what else we did.
Well, the thing we did together was Saturday, we went to the U-Pull junkyard, which
Yay!
everyone kind of likes going to the U-Pull. I mean, it's an all right time, especially as long as you don't really, really need something and have to line your back in oily mud to get it.
Old oily mud, yeah. Oof.
Yeah, it's like if you're just walking around the U-Pull it, looking at stuff and seeing things, archaeology in people's cars, that's fun.
Oh my gosh, that is
Right.
my favorite. Chris is
Right.
actually looking for car parts. We'll get to you, Tim. Looking for car parts, and I'm actually just opening all of the car doors, looking for crap that is in the cars to try to tell the stories of the people that owned said cars. Yes. Go ahead, Tim.
There's one addendum to your statement, and that is
Yes.
as long as it's not on a race weekend, because that's no fun.
Oh,
True.
sure. Yes. This is a
Yes.
leisurely Saturday where
Yeah,
we
way
had
better.
some time to do that. Yes.
Mhm.
I add time in just to do that because I do. I just like fiddling around and look. Oh, I didn't know that's how that attached. Yeah. Just
Mhm.
wander around, look at. Oh, you cars I don't need parts of and I'm not interested in owning. Just look at them.
Yep.
Well, you have a lot more interesting things than we do. We don't have a whole lot of interesting out here because
The U-Pull in Vegas, the one we went to, was fantastic.
I would
time there
spend
too. It
all
was
day
great.
there. Yeah, not ours here.
And I have.
I'm sure. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, ours.
That's great. They got the taco trucks out front. They got lunch.
Or
They
the
got
Accord.
everything you need. It'd be great. Yeah.
We do not have that either.
I wish
Nope.
we had taco trucks. Man,
Mm.
actually, when we were at your junkyard, Metzel, someone tried to sell us a bag of oranges and
And
some peanuts.
Peanuts. Yes.
You
And-
should have got the oranges. I bet they were fresh.
Probably, but we were about to go on a rally with all you fools, and last thing we need is oranges rolling around the limo all day.
We do not need
Right. Yeah. Well, anyway, so we got parts for the Accord and for the Mazda race car. The Accord needed a alternator and a VTEC solenoid, a shifter trim piece that broke, and a little bits that screw onto the door
Doors.
lock things. The little uppy downy bits. Yeah, some was gone, so we got one of those. The trim pieces didn't match the currently in the car, but I don't care. Now it has them, and it didn't, so that's good. Alternator works, which is great. The other one was getting weak, and VTEC solenoid works too, which is great. So I've done a lot to this Accord. It's an '03 Accord with 245,000 miles on it that we got from Chrissy's friend who had it as a daily driver forever, and it's now going to Chrissy's youngest sister's man friend, apparently. So anyway, we're trying to make it so that it doesn't have anything go wrong with it that I can foresee for the next couple of years. So Chrissy's dad doesn't have to deal with it, essentially. So I'm doing all kinds of stuff. So Sunday, I did valve adjustment, valve cover gasket, VTEC solenoid swap with a new gasket on that, and found why the VTEC solenoid was throwing a code, because the filter for the old one was pretty well clogged up with gunk. So that's why it wasn't getting enough oil to run the VTEC and throwing a check engine light. So that problem is now solved. New spark plugs while I was in there, and alternator was in, and all that kind of stuff. I've also now done both rear shocks with, I gotta say, for daily drivers you don't particularly care about, buying a quick strut assembly is so the way to go. It's the spring and the shock and the hat all together in one assembled.
Who does
One
that?
goes in, one goes out. You're dealing with spring compressors and bombs and all of those things. It is just so fast and easy. I wouldn't put it in any of our performance cars, but for just whatever beaters, they're great. They're so fast. So those went in, new brakes in the back, and I've done one front corner, which involves upper control arm, lower control arm, quick strut, new brakes, new wheel bearing, new tie rod end. Yeah, So anyway, got one more corner to do, and then that car will go for inspection and be out of my life.
Yay.
Oh,
And you
then
had to get
oil change and a
Oops.
trans fluid change too.
You had to get it moved so we could get the cars out of the driveway because it was blocking things in. It took you a long time. So
Yeah, I'd really like to drive the NSX, but it was getting blocked in. So now it's not. NSX can go out to play tomorrow,
Yay.
and that's nice.
Nice.
Yay.
Did you say VTEC kicked in, yo, when you drove it? Tested?
Of course.
Yo.
Duh. Well, once it got past 3,000 RPM, which was the problem before, it just wouldn't go above there. As soon as you got around there, it would just hard kick off. And nope, you are not doing that. So it was hard to drive actually without doing that. So that's been fixed. But tomorrow I will enjoy the better VTEC of
better
the
VTEC
double
in the driveway.
cam many
Proper
yeah
VTEC.
VTEC
Capital
yo
V.
yeah.
Yes. Excellent.
Anyway, Mental, what have you been doing?
Mental, tell us your adventures.
God. So I posted all this on the socials. Went to the Luft Air and Water Show, the curated Porsche show by Patrick Long. I initially had planned to come home, get some sleep, wake up early in the morning, drive, get there, and then come home. To come home to find out that the Porsche didn't have brake lights. So I'm not making that 300-mile drive without brake lights. This car is proven to confound conventional wisdom.
Well, it's been hacked together by many people over many, many, many years. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, I was just in the dashboard doing things. So logic dictates that that's where the wire would have gone bad. No. And then I even tried to switch. No, that wasn't the problem. So some length of wire that runs from the terminal of the mechanical switch on the brake pedal to the brake lights just went bad, and I could not locate where. So I had to run an entirely new wire. By the time I got done, it was 1:30 in the morning, and off I went, driving all night, got there just in time to load in. The show it was actually a nice show, but it was raining half the day. But I met up with some old friends and hung out. It was great. And then drove back, and it's nothing that I have not done in the past, but this particular time, no, I had to pull over and in my non-reclining seats, get a power
I was
nap.
going to say, like, this is not a car that you can probably sleep well in.
You're not gonna crawl up in the back of it.
Yeah, or just
Right.
like get out and on the side of the road. Like I
Curl
feel
up
like
in the
that might be
frunk.
That
might
would have been
be
better. Yeah.
better.
The other
And
mistake I made is the car has no heater to speak of, and the heater hoses were pretty chewed up. So I'd removed those and then did not realize that driving up into 5,000 foot elevation twice is friggin' cold. So I actually stopped and bought like a blanket, just had that over me as I was driving to and from.
I am so
And then-
cool driving my old Porsche.
Yeah, I really was.
My old
That
Porsche.
sounds so terrible.
And if you
then-
get sleepy driving that thing, like imagine how sleepy you would be in like a nice car. Like it would have been hours before you would have been
Well,
sleepy. Like
yeah.
it's the sensory assault in every way, and you're still falling
Exactly.
asleep.
And I'm falling asleep. But also, if I'd been in a different car, I'd have been home like 2 hours before because I would have gone over.
Yes. Yeah.
I would have had to stop for a blanket.
Yeah. So
Oh.
exactly. And then I stopped in Urimo, which is about it's 2.5 hours away, and I kept driving, and I got to within an hour, and I'm just doing the
Oh no.
and
Rocking
nope,
out.
pulled over
No.
again, and again like 2 power naps inside of 100 miles. I got home about 5 a.m. and I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore like I used to. I'm gonna have
No.
to sleep.
I feel like half the time you're driving that car, you're saying to yourself, "I am having fun.
I am
I'm
having
having
fun."
fun.
Running around
I'm
town,
having fun."
I am absolutely always having fun. And
Yeah,
I'm
but I
glad
say the
did
same
it.
thing
The
on
show
Scooty.
was- Yeah, because Scooty's fun.
I know.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't drive Scooty to downtown Philadelphia.
I mean, somebody just did. There's a picture on Facebook on 422sucks.com that somebody was on a scooter on 422. That's terrifying.
Yes, good God. Like one pothole, you lost your scooter. Just gone.
So how
Like it
how was the
just-
show? I mean, Porsche people do love to stand around and jerk each other off. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And it was got to see both the Porsche Patricks. So, Patrick Long and Patrick Dempsey was there. And it's kind of funny because like Patrick Dempsey showed up as Long was firing up one of the historic 914 race cars. And everyone kind of looked over and went, oh, Patrick Dempsey. And then proceeded to leave him the hell alone. And he got to run around and just be a Porsche nerd like the rest of us. It was fun. So again,
Cool.
if you have an opportunity to go to one of those, either the air or the air and water shows, I recommend it. It is, the cars are separated enough so we can get good pictures, and they do kind of curate it. They had one entire section of paint to samples, and they were matching colors with old cars and new cars. So you had like a new purple GT3 and then a 964 purple 911. It was well done. I enjoyed it.
When you weren't sleeping
When
side
I
of the
wasn't
road.
sleeping on the side of the road,
with
which
a
if
little
still
blanket.
would have required a blanket anyway. So
I mean, yeah, but I feel like it might have been
I'm
able
having
to
fun.
recline a little better. You just make yourself a taco. That's what I would have done. Roll myself up in the blanket and make a little taco and slept by the side of the road. Sounds.
I think next time, now that I know this limitation, I'm just going to get a hotel room.
That's the better answer. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We learned
Aw.
and we didn't crash. So that's
He's all
good.
grown up now. Look
Yeah.
at him.
You are a
Yes.
man in your 50s with a good job. You can do that. It's fine.
You don't have to just keep driving and fall asleep and keep driving.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
All right,
pretty
you
much.
didn't you didn't die. Yay. Excuse me. It's outside.
Hey, GM has torn down the wall. No, not the Berlin wall, the C8 interior wall. Now, Brian Silvestro over at Motor1.com is reporting the original design from 2020 that put a premium on driver focus. It was perfect unless you were a passenger, in which case you had to wiggle yourself into a leather-wrapped sausage casing, or a one-man bobsled, or, not my writing, crawling back into the womb. I digress. Spy photos have revealed a revamped interior. Noticeable changes are the center console and a new screen to the left of the digital instrument cluster. More importantly, the hideous button wall is gone, replaced by a simple grab handle. The C8's interior buttons have been moved to underneath the infotainment screen. Flip up cover for the cup holder is replaced by an always open set of dual cup holders. Finally, the center vent is now separated by a strip of leather dashboard. It's a small left side screen for the driver showing things like engine oil temp, coolant temp, and transmission oil temperature. Production is set to start in early August, and we expect details of all of the upgrades before then, including in the interior overhaul, along with any other changes they have made to the C8.
Finally.
Yay.
And I totally forgot to share my screen while I was doing that, which
It's
had the
okay.
article, which is linked in our show notes anyway. But yeah, there's the revised.
I like the
interior.
ad of the mouse.
I
and the
do
WD-40 that you just sent.
Scroll down, scroll back.
Yep.
Why are you
Aw.
spraying mice with WD-40? That's
Yeah.
He's not
Oh, he's
spraying the
sad.
mouse with WD-40. He's loaning the
He's-
mouse from WD-40 because
Got
Oh.
it.
the mouse has got a squeaky wheel in his cage.
Check
And
the squeaky
Oh.
exercise wheel.
yeah,
Ah,
let me grab
got
some
it.
of that real quick, boss. Yeah.
And
there we
he's
go.
got his little paw, and he's like, "Toot, toot." Anyway.
It was a tiny button, so yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Slate truck, the fully customizable electric truck, kind of, from Amazon. Perhaps between the doom scrolling on your social medias, you have seen folks post digital shots of a boxy, short bed, two-door truck. Stephen Cole Smith from Hagerty has the skinny on the all-electric, built-in America, multi-configurable truck that is promised to deliver a dealer-free experience. The numbers available under 20 grand, 174.6 inches long, 70.6 inches wide, and 69.3 inches tall. The wheelbase
Nice.
is 108.9 inches, and the 5-foot bed holds 37 cubic feet of cargo. The suspension is a McPherson strut up front, and the Dion axle with coil springs out back. Those steelies are 17 inches and the tires are 245 by 65 R17s, and you can order a wrap from the factory or do one yourself. The projected range is 150 miles. Everything is configurable, including an available flat packed option to turn yours into a two-door SUV. The refundable $50 deposit gets your reservation now. The delivery time hasn't been released, but the configurator, which is in our show notes, is super fun. Give it a try.
Super fun.
Super cute.
Fun.
We were talking on our Slack channel, Facebook Slack channel, about this, and we were like, if they were to make like a track rat version of this stripped out with no interior for 20 grand, that could be fun.
And just a lower body. Just
Yeah.
ever so, yeah.
I mean, about 5 years, you'll have a spec racing series on these cheap things, which is great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep. All right. Hey, over at Autoweek, Mark Vaughn gives us the 2025 list of cars most likely to make it to the moon, which is 238,000 miles, but they rounded up to 250. So it's not going to surprise you with a list of 30 most attractive SUVs. Now, I gather this is based on past performance. How many of these cars in the past have made it to this mileage? So interesting how some of these might work and some of them might not. Let's see. At the bottom of that list is the Ram 1500 with an 11.5% of the previous version making the 250,000 mile cut. That's the only Dodge. The only Mazda is the CX-9 with 12.4%. Ford and Nissan have two cars on the list. Ford's got the Expedition, the F-150, and Nissan's got three, the Pathfinder, the Armada, and Titan. But the odds of any current Pathfinder, Armada, or Titan making it to that mileage is very low. They are very different than the old ones and much crappier. GM's got six, top performer being the beloved Suburban with 22%. And the rest of the list, as you might expect, is Honda and Toyota. Toyota edges Honda 7 to 10. But hey, good news, Timmy. The top ranked vehicle is a Toyota Tundra with a 36.6% chance it's going to last to 250.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is almost double what the F-150. That's why I thought you'd find that interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of our cars, our Escalade is basically a Suburban. So there we go. That's on there. Nice.
Yeah.
There's a Cord sitting out in front of my house. It's going to get to 250, whether it likes it or not.
Hell
Yes,
yeah.
by Tuesday.
Yeah, right. It's
Four
almost
more
there.
trips to the flaps, and I'm there.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Well, on the note of cars that won't make it to 250,000 miles, Byron Hurd at The Drive brings us follow-up on the emerging GM crisis we mentioned last year. After widespread engine failures and an NHTSA investigation, GM is recalling all 2021 to 2024 full-size pickups and SUVs equipped with a 6.2-liter V8. More so, they have issued a stop sale and recall the same vehicles. The current 2025 models are exempt because they can get away with that, but they are hard to find as GM's been replacing destroyed ones in older models under warranty. The problem, according to GM, is the connecting rod and or crankshaft engine components in these vehicles may have manufacturing defects that lead to engine damage and failure. If the engine fails during vehicle operation, the vehicle will lose propulsion. Weird. Increasing the risk of a crash, as they stated in the recall notice. So, who had GM ruins the small block V8 on their bingo card? Anybody?
Hey, we brought you the story a while ago of the
We did.
problems with the 6.2.
Yeah.
That's good consumer
And-
advice we're bringing you.
Yeah. And now it's just gotten worse. I do love that the engine failure. If the engine fails during vehicle operation, the vehicle will lose propulsion.
Wow.
With
Thanks,
that
Captain
kind of
Obvious.
brain power, how did you possibly build a crappy engine?
Yeah.
It's fine.
I
It's
mean-
probably fine.
I quite like the 6.2 when it works. Like we've got one in the Escalade. It's got a lot of power, like a ton, and it is smooth and gets great mileage. Like it's really good. It just needs to hold
Mhm.
together. So
Yeah.
fortunately, the version in the next body style is the one with the problems, more problems. Ours has some problems, but that one has more. So knock on wood.
But I am waiting for that radio call. Hey, what's going on with the car? I have experienced a failure that has resulted in loss of propulsion.
You
I'm
don't say.
absolutely using that.
Chrissy basically said that at Pitt when the
I
throttle
did-
pedal
yeah,
stopped
I just-
responding.
I
She's
just
like, it just
wasn't
doesn't
as-
go. It doesn't go.
I was
It
not
doesn't
that,
go.
that eloquent. No, I was like, especially in the race car. I'm like, gas, no gas, gas
It doesn't work.
on. It's not going forward.
The
Accelerating.
go pedal is now a pause pedal.
Well,
It doesn't
just
do
wasn't
anything.
do
It's
anything.
it's
That's
just
the bigger
three.
problem.
It's just
a
three.
do-nothing
It just
pedal.
doesn't go.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, anyone here, do you hate yourself but hate your teammates more?
Depends.
Depends on the day. Depends on the day,
Depends.
right? Yep.
Depends on the
Hey,
teammate.
of course you do. So buy this thing and you can wallow in self-loathing as a group of Stellantis and Mitsubishi junkies, which makes it
goodness.
even better. That's right. Here's a fine example of a Dodge Stratus RT, stands for real terrible, listed by FL Boy 7X, who, no surprise to anyone, didn't spring for the pro membership on Racing Job.
Oh, come
So this
on.
car's for sale, but listen to this. I mean, this thing is, talk about made of bits. It's a Dodge Stratus. It's got a third gen front wheel drive Mitsubishi Eclipse chassis. Okay, I think they share the same underpinnings a bit. It has an '04 Mitsubishi Diamante 3.5 engine swap. Where are you going to find another one of those, right?
Why?
Oh,
Two
every junkyard,
headers.
it's littered with them because they sold
Why would you need a
millions.
replacement? Those things last forever. They were on
Right.
the 250,000-mile list, weren't they?
What?
Totally. The Mitsubishi Diamante, everyone knows that.
What?
Long tube headers. I don't know who they found to make those damn things.
Billy.
17 by 9-inch wheels with 255 tires, updated fire bottle and safety belts. Ran a 217 at Daytona with a, get this, a GPS recorded 154 miles an hour. Can you imagine driving 154 miles an hour in a Dodge Stratus?
No. All right, so
Only
we
if it
missed
was
the
being
price.
dropped out of a plane.
and then you were gonna die anyway, so it's cool.
Yeah.
$8,700. Is that what it said?
Yeah.
You don't have a price
Yeah.
on that?
And you could
know-
also, it's close enough to where you could theme it as the pace car from Thompson.
That's true. Yeah. Now this thing has been running in Champ Car and Lucky Dog. I think this is probably the most sorted
says.
Dodge Stratus race car around. So if you want to befuddle people with your 150 mile an hour Dodge Stratus, hey man, go for it. Power
Kinda
to you.
terrifying.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
But this is not a beginner's race car. You better know you some Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
and then
and
I'm
welding.
sorry. And then
Lots
we're
of
not going to be and then I want to be friends. Sorry, not sorry. Upcoming races. Lemons is it Hallett. So we'll get the boring stuff out of the way. 61 cars, 5 BMWs, 1 Honda, 4 Miatas, and 2 Porsches. That's a lovely
That is
list of
that
numbers.
is the perfect ratio.
Mhm.
This is why, from Rude, holy crap, what an entry list with 61 teams, including a Jeep Comanche,
Comanche.
whatever.
Comanche.
Jeep Grand Cherokee, Chevy Blazer, Chrysler PT Cruiser, Slant 6-powered Dodge Magnum, a 1947 Plymouth AMC Hornet Sportabout, a Pontiac G6 with a manual, Pontiac Fiero, a Ford Pinto, a Mercury Bobcat, and a Mercury Cougar, to say nothing of a twin-engine Ford Focus, a sub-Saharan taxi with a 68 Mercedes, a Yugo GV, and there's more good stuff packed full of hoopies. And also there's the champagne showers of Sorry for Party will be there as well. So it was amazing to look at this list. The list is actually better than the normal cars that we look at. So
Totally.
Yeah, the
Very,
Slant
very
6 Magnum.
refreshing.
That is one of our devoted listeners and commenters.
it's going to be
You
amazing.
know it's a good
Done
race when
now.
there's as many Pintos as Hondas and
Yep.
as many Yugos and as many Chevy Blazers, because everyone knows a Chevy Blazer is a great race car.
Well, maybe they can
That
make
team
one.
usually themes pretty hard too, because I think they are local to Oklahoma, and they were at Road America. They came
They
up
do
for
theme
it.
pretty hard. Yep.
Yeah, it was a good
Great.
time. Yeah, I am a little annoyed. A little disappointed. I'm not going to be there because it is supposed to be a great one.
Me too.
Sounds like
All
it.
right, Lucky Dog. Remember those guys? They're awesome. They are at Willow Springs. They have 55 cars. Not quite as awesome as a ratio that they're going to have at Hallett, because 24 of
Not
those are
quite.
BMWs.
Boring.
14 of them are Miatas.
Boring.
They have a Honda. They have a Porsche, but they do have a Chevy Cavalier.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. Great.
That'll
Now,
have fun.
speaking of terrible BMW ratios, AER is going to be at Watkins Glen.
Yep.
There are 57 cars, of which 35 are BMWs.
Ugh.
That's
like
so
60%.
much.
2 Hondas, 3 Miatas, 7 Porsches, an RX-7, an FRS, and that's all that's interesting. We'll
That's
put
all
it
that was cool.
That's the best we got for
Yep.
you.
Yep.
Sorry. Although we
Uh,
are wishing good luck to our friends at Scope Creep Racing who were there in a boring BMW and did not bring their Omni or their Aspen, unfortunately.
right?
Come
Because
on,
they
Right. So
guys.
didn't want to embarrass 20 BMWs.
No, that would have been more funny.
It would
Well,
have been more funny.
they're getting not funny is what it comes down to. They're real
Aw.
racers. So the real racers are gonna bring them to BMW. I said, "Oh, you bring in the Omni?" And he's like, "No, bring the BMW." Anyway, though I'm
I
sure
bet they're
they'll
going to
find
turn fewer laps in the BMW than they did the last race of the Omni.
I just tell you that,
probably.
and their Aspen
Don't you
is
put that
really,
evil on me, Ricky
Right.
Bobby.
that Aspen is fascinating. He machined Volkswagen hubs. I love that car.
And they make that car rock. But
Yeah.
They really
anyway,
do.
no, I don't think any of them have been to Watkins, so they're all very excited. So it's
Yeah,
always
Watkins is fun.
always a good.
Although if
good
you
adventure.
mess up, you're going to die in
Yeah,
some spots.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
So
We'll see
don't
how they
die.
do.
good luck.
Hopefully
Yeah.
they don't die. Anyway, it's race for results time.
Lemons was down in Camden at CMP for the block party. Your overall and winner on laps was Lee Ho Fuchs Racing and their 1997 boring BMW 328. Now, Class B was Smoky Unique number 7. They were in a VW Golf. And God's class was B Team and an O2 Beetle.
At first, I thought it was like, "Are we boring you, Tim?"
Only
Or
with the winner.
choice. Or choice. POS Motorsports in an 83 Celica GT. Don't know, but okay. Watch the wrap-up video. Judge's choice was 230, number 230. Good job, guys. In their 1990 Nissan Pulsar. Well, I know why they won, because it's a Pulsar.
Yes,
That's all.
and I believe that is a Pulsar we like once mentioned for being on sale on Racing Junk. Because how
You
many
add it to the
racing
list.
Pulsars can there be, right?
I mean,
Not that
Yeah.
many.
probably
I hope it's a
not.
Sportback. That would be even better.
Yes, yes.
Add it to
I
the
actually,
list.
yeah, had a conversation with our friends over at Racing Junk today. They are very excited to keep us on. They've been adding us to the newsletters. He is going to get us
We
their
saw that.
latest. Yeah, he's going to get us their latest promotional stuff, and is trying to go to going back to PRI this year. Sorry, I'm delaying our recent results.
No problem. Heroic Fix was Hornet's Nest Racing in a 94 Accord.
I got screwed was adrenaline chunkies number 2, 1991 in a Miata. The regional was the Diesel for Dale Trophy and Move Over Motorsports in a 1996 Mercedes E300.
The Halloween meets gasoline went to Stalled Out Studs in number 911 in their 99 Mazda Miata. Yeah, I know. The IOE.
Had to be a hell of a costume, though. We love that.
It had to be. You better
Mhm.
theme hard if you're bringing a Miata.
Yeah.
The IOE went to Bar Racing, number 444, in a 98 Toyota Corolla from Brooksville, Florida.
Get more stories on the wrap up when it comes out because we don't
Mhm.
know much about what happened.
Nope.
But it looked like they all had a good time because the parade is always just a fabulous time.
Can't wait
It
to go
is.
to that race.
Right. Listener feedback time.
Well, I posted my new ride and got some love. B Trainer said it must have done something to impress you if you chose not to rinse and repeat in your F-150. Nick B said it's sexy and it tows it.
Nice.
All right. So Chris and I hit up the junkyard and we posted up a what you working on. So we got plenty of people working all kinds of things. Adam N said, after 2 weeks in Spain and Portugal, thrashing hard to make the Mofoco mid-engine Magnum domination ready for Hallett. Though it was ready, but it was marked in its territory in a big way in the driveway while loading. And discovered a crack in the oil pan. Nothing but a little JB Weld won't fix. What could go wrong? Might need to add some chewing gum and duct tape.
Now, DJ 914, he was doing a once over on his 987, knowing what has to be done before his next track day. Also preparing for Hallett or taking a break from preparing, Dean was giving the lawnmower a tune up and the last of the Hallett prep done while it rained outside because he has a huge garage, which is totally awesome. Nick C was gathering parts for their transmission rebuild. Thinks it'll clean up nicely. Good old Tom Lamino was finishing up his fuel cell. Dave Eckel was rebuilding the rotten ramp to his shed. Tom Buswell, effing Mini Cooper. That's all he had to say. German engineering with English reliability, and have not heard from her in so long. Happy to hear that Amanda Tully was also at the junkyard.
Where the cool kids go on Saturdays. Greg
Apparently.
O is trying to diagnose a boost leak on his Mercedes diesel daily driver. Scott M was planning a party that was executed well. Well job done, Scott. Jeremy Moonen is making steering linkages for an excursion. Tyler S was packing because he's going to move to a new job 500 miles away. There
Way
you
to go, Tyler. Congrats.
Congrats,
Rob
man.
B asked, "Hey, did it rain in your junkyard?" And then he posted a picture of him pulling an engine out of a Beetle in the rain. Yeah, good job. Remember we talked about it's terrible going to the junkyard when you're lying in the oily mud. Yeah, it's a shame, Rob. And Sean D said, "Hey, a day at the junkyard is more fun than a round of golf. Changed my mind." Timmy, what do you think?
I think there's only one
Expert on
person
both.
here who would argue.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, why not do both?
There
Yeah.
you go.
Make a golf course in a junkyard.
Oh,
Ooh.
that would be so
Play it where it
hard.
lies. Play it where it lies.
good
Oh
luck.
my.
I got oil on my wedge.
I got some actual in-person listener feedback too. It was one of our little clips that we show on Instagram, and it was car you want to own but would be embarrassed to be seen in. And guy I work with came into my office and he said Carmen Gias, and I looked at him because I think Carmen Gias are awesome. He goes, "Yeah, but when I was in high school, only girls had them." But everyone else, everyone I knew in high school, I had a Carmen Gia was a guy. It's an interesting thought. And now just try to find a Carmen Gia. Nobody cares.
Not here.
Nope.
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 I would hope you would have them. We wouldn't have them.
Yes.
Yep.
You know who wouldn't be caught dead in a Carmen Gia?
I would say, who would look fantastic in a Carmen Gia?
No. Too old. She look fantastic. Yes, I'm sorry.
Too unreliable, too slow.
Yeah.
You might want to throw in that you're talking about the car, not.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Details are important.
Commas are important. Yes, I don't think she would like a Carmen Gia. That's what I'm getting at.
No, but she would look good in one.
Sure.
Mm.
Fine.
Sure. Hell, she'd look good taking a nap in a 68 Porsche in a gas station in Euromos, but
Just what everyone wants.
Yep.
Well, hi, Chrissy's mom.
Hi, Chrissy's mom.
hello, Chrissy's mom.
Great.
All right.
You know what it is now?
What
yeah,
is it?
say
It's main topic time.
Thanks, Tim.
So this came out of one of our conversations and out of another text thread, and it is just maturing in this pastime. This series is now 18 years old. Well, I'm sorry. Almost 18 years old since if you go all the way back to 2006.
Don't you dare say it's mature.
It's maturing.
Then what is
But
it?
yeah, exactly.
Aging.
And one of the discussions that started this up is my friends down in Texas, Skinny Coyote Racing. They have a fleet of Miatas, and they have lost a rear hub on one of those Miatas at almost every race last year and this year at CMP. Now they're replacing them with new hubs, but they're getting the stock ones. And my theory is that they're just driving harder and faster. The team has gotten faster, and so now the discussion is upgrading their race hubs. And we've seen this. Chris and Chrissy, you've lived it 3 times now. Is you stick with a car, the car gets faster, the team gets faster, and stuff starts breaking that didn't break before. And it's not just limited to the car. There are just things that weren't in your cross check previously that should, if you've been doing this more than a couple of years, you should start considering, or at least moving in the direction of. And I think that's what I was feeling when I proposed this.
I would
Okay.
agree. I would agree. I think another common one is your brakes and your brake pads. Like when you are not very fast, your Napa pads aren't that bad. But as soon as you start throwing a little bit of pace in there, like that is not good enough. So I think there's a lot of stuff like that.
I think fluid also adds to that since we're
Yeah.
talking about, we've had a
Yeah,
couple
brake fluid.
discussions
Yeah,
about
and
that.
even when you
Coolant, too.
upgrade your pads, there's a lot more heat going in there. And how often are you checking those rotors for cracks?
Mhm.
Cooling systems too. I think people like, well, I left it stock, and then they're driving it harder, and it's like, and all of a sudden, it's running a little hot, or like, we don't have an oil gauge. I wonder what temperature it is, and they put one in, and it's 280. Oh, that's a little much, right? Yeah, things like that. There's all kind of stuff in a car that start to go when you go faster. I see this a lot in HPDEs too. Like at the start of a weekend, someone's going along and they never have to shift in the spots and everything's fine. But then over the course of the weekend, they're getting faster, and all of a sudden, oh, what was that? What happened? Oh, that was the rev limiter you just hit because you're going so much faster now. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Well, yeah, there's
that's
lots of
excellent.
things that happen. It's the car, it's the driver, it's the team. Everything changes.
Did I really just lose all of it? Wow.
And
We can
Oh,
wait a little bit. I mean, it seemed like it happened to all of us. We all
well,
got gigablasted and kicked off.
it's an EMP somewhere.
Uh-huh.
so mental froze with a scowl on your face, and you were like, yes.
Because I
So-
noticed the internet was slowing down, and I'm like, "Don't you dare kick me!" And then kicked me right off.
Yeah, and I didn't
Kicked all of
blame-
us off.
Oh, that's
Well, Tim,
even.
not Tim.
I was good.
All
I
right,
didn't
so
die.
we're
Everybody
using
else.
we're using Tim's recording.
Well,
Yep.
or yes, or we can splice because this might be worth
Yeah.
it because we all left.
No, we'll use Tim's recording. We just cut a little bit out of the middle.
Fine.
So where are we going? Did you guys hear what I said that even the series itself has matured and has improved in a variety of ways? We're running into
No,
new
we didn't
problems
hear
in a
any of
variety of
that.
ways. Oh, well,
Nope.
there. I just said it now.
Okay.
So there. So what do we want to talk about? Do we
So
want to
much
talk
for being
about-
mature.
Right.
right?
Well, so going on with our, like you said, the cooling system, stuff like that, because we always tell people leave it all stock, don't go chasing horsepower, and we stand by that statement. But after you've been doing this for a while, you should start eyeballing some things for reliability.
Yeah, brake pads, number one. Brake fluid, close behind, number two. Cooling systems in general. Everything gets
all
hot.
all of the coolings.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's three.
Brake
Tires.
rotors that should probably start migrating into consumables as opposed to a thing you used to be able to do once a year or once a season. Depending on
Depends
the
on the
car,
car.
you may have to start doing that every other race or have a set
Yeah.
of spares.
Depending on
I'll
your
throw
pads.
one.
Yeah.
I'll
Well, that
throw
goes
one
into
at you.
cooling too. You have to throw some
Mhm.
brake cooling into there too. Yeah. Timmy,
Yes.
what's up?
How about all of the rubber bits in your suspension that are now getting loaded way harder than they ever were and are certainly old and crusty? Like,
Mhm.
look at all of those bits.
Anything that moves. Ball joints. In addition to bushings, wheel bearings. We talk about hubs too, but wheel bearings. If all of a sudden you're side loading those a lot more, the part store wheel bearings, the grease in those is not designed for the kind of temperature you're putting through it, not just in the rotating of the hub, but think about how hot that brake rotor is getting. That temperature is going right through the hub into the bearing and heating that whole thing up. So that's why we learned to start packing ours with that 800-degree tolerant grease to help that. And we just talked about this with a team at Pitt,
Oh,
Premature Apexers in their golf. They all of a sudden now they're driving harder after 3 or 4 races. Now their wheel bearing lasted a race and it's bad. It's like, well, what do we do now? And it's like they're going through all kinds of new things that are changing because their team is getting faster on the car. And they were also talking about other things in their car that they've now come to realize they don't like. Chrissy.
Yes, I'm glad to tell the story. So, shout out to I think all of them listen. So premature apexers hung out at our garage on the evening at pit, and we insisted. We started talking to them about their car. They are getting faster. They've been through a few races. They love it. They're awesome people. And they were kind of complaining about their pit stops and their setup. And they're kind of like, we don't love this. And they just dropped a whole lot of money on some seatbelts. And they were like, well, it's kind of, they're okay, but nobody really likes them. And they were saying how their pit stops were slow. So we said, we're standing right next to the Mazda. We said, get in. Like, we love our belts because our belts have
Which
nice
are
little
what, Chrissy?
hold.
Good question. All right, we'll come back to that.
I know I'm asking the man who's getting water that's sitting right. Hold on.
They're G-Force FIA endurance belts. Yeah.
Link to those
Weird,
will be in the show notes.
Chrissy's microphone, and I'm hearing it in my own ears several seconds later.
Stop. Okay, go back to your space. Anyway, sorry. This is how the sausage is made. Somebody came down where I am. Anyway, yes, we'll link to the belts. So anyway, the belts have really nice tabs, and they are really easy to they're pull down. They're all pull down, but they are really easy to move. So basically, when we're coming down pit row, we said we just pull them up, and they're like, "What? You can do that?" And so, we just basically said, like, look how easy they are to pull, even for the lap belts. So the team was like, "Oh, you don't have to like stand." Like the one of them, we were like getting muscles pulled because they were trying so hard to be able to tighten the belts that they had. And so it's one of those things where you can have a setup, and once you realize that it's probably worth trying to drop the money on a setup that is better suited and it's just better in all ways. But basically we said, here's our setup. And they just were like, I can't even believe this is a race setup. So the belts, they really like the seat. And then you were talking about is it the radio harness? What?
But just where to put the radio button so you can actually reach it and it's not going to get caught in the steering wheel. They list like the seat position. You put the seat in the first time and then you realize, it's pushing me in the back of the head the whole time, or it's like it's too far away from the wheel. All those things Hamza talked about. I can't see any of the gauges. I put that switch there. I can't really reach it.
And you don't notice it's a problem until you actually started spending 8 hours in the car as opposed to 45 minutes and then 7.5 hours under the car. So these are the things that come through. And then you like, if I believe I have the right belts, those are $300 belts. Now, reality is they're worth it. But if you're just doing this for the first time, or you and a group of friends are doing this, $300 on a $500 race car, why don't we go over here and get these $90 belts? Let's just see if we like it first. So you're not making the wrong decision buying the safe but affordable items. But the point of this one is, as you do this more, good places to spend money to increase your comfort and durability.
Same way with like driver equipment too. Before we all started this with like the bed quilt race suit, or
yep.
the thick underwear with the just like the like mechanic suit above it, like the one piece, one layer crappy top layer.
Mental just went to go
that
get
Mental
his.
still has.
Mental,
Right.
you should have worn that on your trip to the
Yeah, you should. That with the underwear. Yeah, so
I am
do that.
sorry about the constant gigablasting. That was really funny, Tim. Yes, I absolutely should have worn that. It's like a snowmobile suit. And I wore, and that is not even my first suit.
No, but
That's
you have
like
the 2-layer 2-piece suit, don't you?
No, I don't. I'm just not a fan of 2-piece suits.
Oh, okay.
But
I thought you had one of those.
I initially had like one of the $99 Summit Racing specials that you had to wear, the underwear underneath it, and that would have been terrible to wear on my trip because I would have frozen to death because it would, had absolutely, it was only hot in the summer and then cold in the winter.
Exactly
Yeah.
what you want.
Yes. But I'm not even sure why I still have that one around. It's not even really a fueling suit
Halloween.
anymore, but yeah, there it is.
That's about it. Yes.
Or next time I drive to California in the Porsche. So
Need a giant Porsche logo on the back of it.
All right, so we done with cars. So I think really the cars are, especially as you
Yeah.
mature, you do a bunch of races, you do 2 years, you do 3 years, you say, okay, I've got a team, I got a car that we're working on. What would make me more comfortable? What would make me make us, where are I think some of it's like, where are the pain points and what can we do to make them a little bit better? I think is probably a good way to think about it. And not change all of them at once, but to change some of them. So, if you're doing longer stints, now you're like Mental was saying, like you were doing 45 minutes and that was amazing. You were so focused on driving like the race car and traffic, you weren't noticing how, like Chris said, your head was pushed forward or you're too far away from your the steering wheel because that's how it's set up, kind of thing. I think that's where winter projects could come in with just changing a few things can make all the difference.
I like your story because also, it reinforces why most of us are involved in this hobby. Go around and try other people's setups. Oh, this is awful. I'm never going to do this. Oh, this is fantastic. I totally want to copy all of this.
Well, and the premature apexers group said, well, we don't really like halo seats and we don't really, these are the things we think we don't like. And then you sit in it and then you said, well, maybe you don't like them for some reason, but if you set them up and they're on sliders and they're on the right angle, because Chris takes a lot of time to figure out exactly how you're going to make the driver feel the best. It doesn't, the halo seat's good as for protection, but if you set it up so you can pull the seat all the way back and get in, you don't notice the halo in the way of you trying to get in the car. So you might take away from the situation that you think that you don't like. Exactly what Mental said.
If you want a good opportunity to like check everybody's stuff out without having to walk all the way around the paddock, show up to BS on Friday at 11:30. And once there's a line and everyone's waiting to get checked, they are going to be bored out of their minds and would be happy to talk to you about all the things. So
interesting.
You can check all that out. You've got a much larger audience of cars to look at and steal ideas from. When I'm judging, I'm always looking for ideas as to what can I steal? How did they set this up? Where did they run, cool suit lines? Or, there's some really creative people out there. So stealing is usually the best way to get a good idea.
Well, and you could probably count the teams that are like, you don't need to look at that we've ever encountered in this series on one hand. Most teams like, oh yeah, dude, we got tired of this or we did this and oh God, it used to kill my back. So now we just set it up like this. I would argue 99% of the teams are absolutely here. See what we did. I'll send you a link on your phone.
Or they'll be happy to say too, if I did this again, I wouldn't do it this way.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yep.
Because they found the pain points and some of them are just too hard to fix and you just live with it.
Yeah. Or aren't that big of a deal.
Like the fail bird. I remember I finally drove the.
Yeah, I was like, where do you start?
Drove the fail bird, and I'm like,
everything in between the license plates.
I said, Matt, dude, this seat is awful. Like I'm leaned all the way forward, and it's hitting my head. He goes, I know, and I've been wanting to change it for 8 years, but I had to keep doing things like putting engines in it.
Engines and trans.
And he finally got the seat upgraded on that. And that car's, yeah.
Then he shipped it away.
Yeah, I was going to say it's gone now. So it's not even a thing.
It's hella comfortable.
More comfortable for somebody else.
Exactly. Oh, he finally
fixed the problem. Now it's gone.
He got it as fast as it could go and he got it comfortable. And yeah, all right, I'm done with this.
Shoot.
Yep.
He picked up a whole new problem that we can't give away on this show, but you're going to want to show up to the 25 hours of Thunderhill if you can.
Yep. All right. So, I mean, speaking of that, the people, we're all changing a lot, not only because we're older and creakier and need longer arms to read things and stuff, right?
Yes.
But there's
Yes.
things we're going to pay a little more attention to now. And some of it is the fact that we have matured as people, and some of it is the fact that we've done this long enough. We realize is, we actually, we should think about that. We really should think about that. It makes everything go better. And I'll steal one from your list here, Metal. Hydration. It's really important to be well hydrated in your race car. It's not just Jay and Eric yelling at just a gallon of water a person a day, at the driver's meeting. It really changes what you're doing. If you hydrate up, you feel so much better. You can last in the car. You're not overheating yourself. There's so many reasons to do that make you a better, safer driver. Yeah, Chrissy.
On that note, I used to be really great at drinking a lot, not water, at races. So learn from me and don't do that. And if you're going to think that you want to feel happier in the car, don't drink whatever your friends are handing you. Shots. I had so many pudding shots. I'm not
Board meeting.
right. So many board meetings. So many beers, and then shots, and then Malort, and then moonshine, and all these things. So, yeah, I just feel like learn from me. I'll just say me.
We all have a story.
As everyone's hand is going up.
I know. I'm being selfless and just taking this one that I haven't always been great at not drinking a lot of alcohol with friends. And I mean, it affects I can drink all the water I want in the day, but if I've drank too much alcohol at night, then that doesn't I'm trying to replace things. So
yeah, I was going to say, it used to not bother me to be a little hungover in the car, but also the series and the cars were a lot slower. And I was in my 30s when we started this nonsense. And now the worst thing is being hungover in a race car because it's hot and it's noisy and you're just like, you're, smelling everybody's cooked brakes and tires. Yeah. Don't want to do it anymore.
Tim, did you have something? No, you had your hand up.
Yes. If you are going to choose to go that route, highly recommend a Gatorade before bed, and again at 5, and then again at 6, and at 7, and at 8, and keep doing that until noon when you get in the car. And don't get in the car before that.
I was going to say, don't get in first. You should consider.
Oral rehydration salts, also great.
Worth it.
Totally.
Can link to our favorite in the show notes because worth it.
Totally works.
Yes.
Yeah.
And diet goes along with that too. The grease bomb seems great at the time, especially after a few drinks. But how do you feel the next day when you got to get in the car?
How about the raw pork line? Can we just talk about that? That will always make you feel better. I didn't do it. We didn't do it. Our
Some people on our
did
team,
it.
not us. It was quite late at night. They decided they were hungry, and one of them said, I got this pork loin in the RV.
Like a legit full pork
Why
loin.
he had a pork loin in the RV and at the race?
Duh.
Yeah, let's not ask silly questions. But they got the grill out. They cooked it for a while. They cut it up. They cut it. They ate it. They put the rest away. The next
they didn't. They left it on the grill.
Oh, that's right.
That's
how
we
the next
found
day we
out.
get up in the morning and we look at this and say, "What the hell is this?" It looked like a seared tuna, it was purple on the inside and like tan and a ring around the outside.
Very much should not consume.
We're like, really? You guys ate this?
And they were like, dead.
Yeah.
So good.
All right, see how we feel. It seemed good last night. Yep.
They were not dead.
No, don't do that. Don't be like our friends.
Right. So diet is important while racing. Yes.
Like eat something before you get in the car, as long as it doesn't make you ill. Something, get get some protein, get something that's going to last in your stomach for a little while. That's good. Have the
a,
water in the car.
a simple protein.
Yeah.
And you don't want, like a lot of people, they'll grab a honey bun or a bear claw or something, and that's a complex carbohydrate. And I'm not trying to get all slim good body on anybody because I'm the least healthy person on this show, but that is going to, your body has to devote a lot of energy to digesting and breaking that down, and that's going to it's going to make you a little sleepy and sluggish in the car. And these are things that I would not have noticed 15 years ago, but I absolutely notice now.
Tim?
Yeah, I mean, once again, don't drive before 12. It's kind of my motto.
Yeah. Everyone on our team knows I don't start. So there we go. Done.
That's actually an excellent segue, because there are several people, like we had Jeff Hanka on this show, and he's like, yeah, dude, if I'm doing a 24-hour race, I do the sunset and I do the sunrise, but I don't drive at night, period, dot. Those are my rules. Chris never starts because, well, he built a car and he gets King's rule. Like, it's things I don't do. I don't start. But part of that is recognizing the pain points. And then also part of that is just recognizing your limitations of, every 24 I've ever done, I always end up driving at night because I'm one of a handful of people that can still see at night, especially when you start looking at people my age. But just recognizing what you're good at and what you're bad at, and pulling your ego out of the equation for the sake of the team of, yeah, dude, I'm not driving before noon. Why? Have you seen me at 9 o'clock the night before? That's why. I'm not doing that.
Or 2 o'clock.
Yeah. We jokingly, but not jokingly, used to always put Steve Clayman in first because
Still does.
Yeah, because he always ate healthy. He didn't drink and would go out there and keep a level head. And that kind of enabled us to be a little sillier the night before. He was at a place already where he knew his physical capabilities and could adjust his diet accordingly. And it was always great.
Always decide on who's going to drive first the night before. That helps you.
Don't do the morning Rochambeau. Who's the least hungover?
It's never usually
who had the
plan.
least pork loin.
Always have a Steve Clayman on your team.
Always. Can I go back to diet real quick? My one thought is that, especially if you're in arrive and drive, even if you have a pretty good team, I would suggest that you bring your favorite light snack. So like this is like just like a granola bar or something like that, because you never know if your jackass friends forget to make lunch, you don't like what they're having for lunch, all of a sudden it's very heavy, or you decide, oh my gosh, I have to go out right now, I need to scarf something. I suggest bringing your own snack just because it's easier. Like sometimes you like, if it's really cold and it's chilly day, you're like, probably don't want to have that before you get in the car. So just don't rely on what other people might have brought you. Just an idea.
And just go to the grocery store and grab one of those little veggie trays with like the ranch dressing and just scarf some of that down. Like, it's easy, it's good for you, but it's a great way to kind of fill the void if you're just like, man, I'm starving and I don't want to throw a bag of Doritos in my face. So
But Doritos.
Unless somebody's working on a car that's broken, then it's okay to eat Doritos.
Yeah, that's true.
So much.
It's mandatory then.
Yes.
Stuff them in your
No
bag
vegetables. That's not allowed.
Nope.
I thought of this one too. I think as you mature in this series and as a driver, you make a lot of different choices on track than you would have otherwise. Like
Point buys.
Are times, point buys of, okay, these are really nice to do. I'm pretty fast, but I want to give this driver behind me the courtesy and communication to know when I would like them to pass me. Right?
Or
we're all happier for it.
You used to do them, and now that you don't have to do them necessarily.
Well,
also,
that's true.
as
But now
you're
I
going
can be
faster.
choosy about doing them because
Yes.
I'm not driving a boat. The making those a low percentage of moves too, like being able when you come up to someone and knowing, can I make this? And knowing enough ahead of time to, nope, I can't. I'm going to back off and try it after the corner. Or reading traffic. once you've done this long enough, you can tell with coming up on a car. Oh, oh, no, he has no idea I'm here. Nope, no clue. I am not getting anywhere near this guy until I can blow by him. He is not paying any attention to what's going on. He has no idea. So it's your maturity affects your on-track performance, mostly for safety and making good choices, I think. Wisdom comes with experience, which comes from making mistakes.
Yes.
That's why Mental's a very wise man. Yes.
And seeing not just, okay, you know what, this team has pretty good SA, but they are right now really trying to get around that car in front of them. And if I get into it, this is just going to be, an additional situation. I would argue now, especially if it's a much slower car, by the time we get up close to it, we've already figured out, oh, we're going to pass them in this corner. We knew where we were going to pass them before we got there. Or you check in the mirror, you're like, oh, yep, they're going to catch me by this corner. And by choosing where I am on the track, I am controlling where they are getting around us. And a lot of your faster teams are pretty good about taking those hints.
And you can then do the same thing with cars passing you and controlling when they pass you. Like,
yeah,
we've all had some asshole in a BMW come flying up on us. And we're like, dude, I am not playing with you because you're making bad decisions. I'm just going to brake a little early here. You go right by and you go have a nice day. I have no interest in being anywhere near you.
Yes.
I hope you find a wall soon.
Yeah. or the flip side is the people that are really fast and aren't jerks, like save the Tatas. If you're coming up on the corner and you don't want that, the Camaro Cadillac thing on your inside.
Oh yeah, there you go. Great. Yep. Right over there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a nice day. See you later.
And recognizing the teams that are going to accept that kind of communication, like, oh, okay, yeah, these guys know what time it is. We're good. Yeah.
And I would just say awareness, right? Like the awareness that you have in the car is so much better now as you've been doing this. You're not as overwhelmed. You start to make connections of, all right, here's a car that's a quarter and a half behind me. They're going to catch me in 3 turns, right? Because I know they're that fast, right? And set it up to where they can get around you without you having to slow down, right? Like figure out where that is and then use those faster cars to get yourself around those cars that are about the same speed as you, right? That you've been stuck behind. So having that awareness of all of the sensors that are coming at you is really important. And it gives you that that additional like mental capacity to like really focus on the car, like look at gauges, check on things that, when you are trying to not die out there the first time you get in a race car, that's probably not high on the list. So Chris.
I think great example of this. It reminded me of an F1 race. I forget which one it was, but Carlos Sainz was leading and he was obviously going fast, leading the damn race, has the wherewithal to understand enough strategy and think through it to be having strategy discussions with his team while driving 10/10ths. And then also knowing, hang on, if I back off just a little bit and pull this other guy just into 1 second into DRS, he's going to make sure the guy in third place, who's my real problem, isn't going to be able to catch me because he got somebody in the way. And this is all while he's driving 10/10ths. He's having these conversations and these thoughts and doing all this strategy because he's comfortable in the car. He understands what he's doing, he understands how to make it do what he wants it to do. And that comes with experience and maturity. Like Alonso's probably the master of this. Like he's just coming up with strategy as he's trying to pedal that stupid Aston Martin to 14th place, but he's doing the best he can, and you can hear it on the radio.
Oh, Alonso.
Yeah. And help his hopeless teammate.
Oh, don't get me started.
Oh, hey, just a great time to plug our F1 league. We're almost halfway through the season. I was in first place until 2 races ago, and then I went to 7th. Now I'm back up to 4th.
Someone please join because maybe I won't be last. Please and please. And I'm legit trying. And I put my picks in the week Chris didn't. So what is going on? Again, Don't get me started. Somebody please join so I don't have to be last. I need a billboard that says my team is amazing. We had a billboard in our neighborhood that somebody said, I have my split screenshot says, I have the best team in the whole league. And then he says, I came in dead last. And it was
It was a fantasy football league,
fantasy
and
football, but
coming in last, you had to buy a billboard showing that you came in last. That was that team's thing.
and
That's
I loved
great.
it.
Oh,
And
that
that's
is
me
wonderful. That
because
is
I'm
so
actually
wonderful.
legit trying. So
That is great.
sure, join us in our F1 league. Yes.
Which billboard are you gonna go with?
I don't know. I'll just put a little sign out in my front yard because we do have a pretty busy street, so somebody can just see.
I think you have to do the one on the Pennsylvania Turnpike that's
No.
been there since the 70s that advertises for milk. That's just
Oh, that one. All right. Yeah, I like that one.
Alternatively, you could just buy a theme on a car that runs Road Atlanta. Our theme is Chrissy lost the F1 fantasy league, and you just
I have to
wrap
buy
down the
it.
side of it.
Want to get a wrap?
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Isn't it
just
just as much humiliation for somebody to just do that as a theme? I
Yeah.
think that's a better thing. I'm
If
going to
any
a
of
Road
you listeners need a theme
Road,
is
Road
who
America.
lost the E1R fantasy league.
Yeah.
yeah, spectacular fashion.
Who's the Sauber of our
You have to theme. Yeah, the car needs to be in this Sauber livery.
yeah.
Get a hold of us, listeners. We have got your Road Atlanta theme. This
Yeah,
is-
right.
Oh,
I don't know if that's winning
fantastic.
anything, though. I don't know if that's going to be great, but it would certainly make me laugh. Okay,
Yep.
let's get back on track here. Are we done with track ideas?
I think
Speaking
so. But
of
let's
on
go to
track,
Well, and
let's go to
I
track
will
side.
I'll say the last thing on that one, and it is recognizing your worth. I think early on, everything is always about lap times. But there are any number of people that we have raced with, and their value is not that they have the fastest lap times, that they are consistent and they don't hurt the car. And, recognizing that you're not going to be the fastest person on a team doesn't mean you're useless, and you can still be a fully functional member of the team and be very valuable in that car.
That's very nice of you.
yes,
Yes, so much.
yes,
Great.
capital Y.
Yeah.
Good
That's a bitter pill for me to swallow. I'm still working on that one, but it's
I thought you were talking about me, so that's why I was.
Chrissy, you have whooped me before, like several times.
I'm okay.
and
Well,
And-
speaking of being valuable off track, there's a lot of things you can do when you're not racing that are really important. And
Yes.
like I'll think of a couple that I care about more now is generally keeping the paddock and pit space in good order. Like if I remember our first race, there were water bottles on every flat surface. There were
Yep.
tools strewn about.
of which we had no,
Everything was
our
so
only flat
clear.
surface was the trailer and the
Yep.
car.
Everything was everywhere. We didn't know what was going on. Like we're sitting on a tarp on the ground
Yep.
doing stuff.
Yep.
Like
I
it
brought
was-
I brought plasticware because I was trying to be economical. And I spent and it was only a 5 or
like
6 of us.
reusable plasticware.
Oh
like,
yes, I'm sorry. Yes, like plastic plates. I bought like plastic plates from wherever we had, actual silverware, plus water bottles. How does that make sense? I'm not sure. But I ended up washing dishes like the whole time, and
in the
so
nasty bathroom at Summit Point, Shenandoah. Yeah.
oh yeah. Well, I was also thinking of NJMP, which doesn't have a
Yeah.
place you can wash dishes. So yes, so that it's worth it for paper. I mean, good on you if you decide that you need to use real plasticware, but I love the environment. I live next to a landfill, but it is worth it for paper goods when you're racing.
Because you can recycle them. It's fine. It's fine.
And just
Sure.
even if you're not the one doing the work on the car, walk around, help or clean up and organize the tools so they're not strewn about. Pick up that paper towel that's on the ground. There's that oil drain pan that's full of the nastiest smelling gear oil you've ever smelled in your life. Be the one to take that over to the dump station and get it out of there. Just keep things in a good order, and everyone will be so much happier to do. Like instead of just sitting down for a while, all right, yeah, there's a bunch of junk all over this place. Organize it, clean it up, and everything everyone will have a better experience.
Yeah, and I like adding to when you borrowing tools, like if you had a big to do and you're like, okay, now I need to do a swap or do work on somebody else's cars, and somebody else just said, oh, I found your torque wrench, I'm just going to take it. Like start, doing that. Well, I mean, that happens, like if it's sitting on top of the tool bench and then
write it
somebody
down.
was like,
Torque
I
wrench
can't.
from 3 p.m. Right?
Well, sure, that'd be lovely. Or just go find it then, right? Like if the torque wrench box is still empty, where did it go? So, collecting things from places too.
Mm-hmm. Your paddock storage is something that you can pay attention to when you're not at the track. It only took us 10 years to get Corey to stop bringing a bucket of wrenches.
Yeah.
And he's happier now. He really is.
He is. The bag of wrenches. I'd see that come out and I'd get hives. Not one wrench matched. Like it was. Oh, Corey.
They're all things he found in the
junkyard.
junkyard.
I don't know how you did it, man. Impressive.
Well, things like our helmet tree was something that we had to figure out to do, but now we couldn't do without. It's a piece of wood with hooks on it that has some fold out legs on the bottom, and otherwise we've all experienced a helmet on every chair in the paddock, sometimes two, and you just want to sit down, but you can't because there's a helmet on everything. And where do you put that helmet? You don't want to put it on the ground. That's an expensive piece of equipment. You don't want to kick it and get it right. So the helmet tree was born. Things like that.
I made a driver equipment drying rack where it's PVC, basically like a PVC mannequin with holes drilled in it, and you put your suit on it and your helmet on it and your shoes go in and all the things. And I've got hooked it up to one of those jumpy house blowers that I bought for $30, and it will dry your suit out in like 30 minutes.
Wow.
And since I built that, it hasn't rained once in any of the races that I've been at.
I mean, that's
well, thanks for building it, Tim. You've changed the weather. It's great.
It's great. There are times I'm thinking about the Road Atlanta race with Mental's RV, and we had all of our shoes and all this because that was the snow. One of the snow. I think it was
one of the
rain
snows.
race.
One of the snows.
No, I think it was just rain that time, but it was like really, really cold rain. And we had all of our shoes lined up in front of the little tiny vent that was like
for the heater. Yeah,
it was like nothing.
We'd rotate them through and rotate our wet gloves through. Yeah. RV smelled great, by the way.
No, it didn't. Yeah, it was not good. That Tim, that setup is amazing.
Easy, and then you just put it together.
How does it go? Okay, just checking. Thank you.
It's like a transformer. It's great. Oh.
So I would say something that you tend to not really care about when you're first going to the racetrack, because you're like, I've got to bring a car and fuel jugs and tires, and I'm going to bring this $12 tent that I've had since I was in Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
and lay on the gravel and try to get some sleep after I've been thrashing on a car all day and racing with a giant quilt on. Be nice to yourself. Like get an air mattress, get a bigger tent, like get a hotel.
Get a trailer that's enclosed.
I think some of it depends on the race. So I feel like Sarford Party has always been hotel queens, always, except for New Jersey, where the parties go very long. But also it's like usually a pretty nice weekend. Sometimes it's raining. Sometimes it has rained a lot. But I feel like sometimes you can get away with you're not your best setup if weather dependent, or at least it should be moderate out.
Yeah, West Coast Sarford Party is at the track. They're sleeping. Right. Yeah, if it's too cold, we're moving in the garage. Kick the car outside.
Oh, this is long before they did
long
that.
ago.
Come on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'd rather sleep in a tent at Button Willow than in the meth laced motel that's down the road. Like, come on.
Right. If your options aren't that good, you're going to figure it out.
This is not the Hilton.
Sonoma too, though. Like Sonoma, there's resorts, but yes.
But the thing that's changed, like my accommodations, which is like way more comfortable, is there's a big cot that I have that Corey turned me onto, and then I got one of those big, 2-inch, 2.5-inch thick memory foam pads, and I put that on the quilt or on the cot rather, and it's super comfortable. It's warm, like it's fantastic. It's like having your own little cozy little bed. Put some sheets over it, a pillow, and sleep like a baby.
Our combinations changed when our friends no longer brought their RV, and then we were forced to figure out what we were going to do, and we have, and our combinations
Works
are
out
great
great.
now. Yes.
The things you learn.
Sleep is
Yeah.
good.
Do do do. Now you know. Do 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 do.
Oh, I got to mark that one so I can throw it through.
You know what changed? What made also our paddock life better? Crock pot liners.
Mm.
Just stop there. The days when
That's-
you used to bring the crock pot and then you'd have another meal coming up, and then you have to go scrape out last night's chili or something like that, or somebody has to borrow it and they return it without it, and you're just like, this is the worst, because no one wants to scrub them anyway, but nobody wants to do it at the track at all. So crock pot liners.
Mm-mm.
Pre-cook all your bacon at the house. Then
Yep.
you don't have all the grease to deal with.
Yep.
Mhm.
Crack your eggs so you don't crack them at the track, because then you have messy. I mean, unless you're like having open face sandwiches or something like that. But yeah, don't do it. We do all of ours in the sink, put them in a jar, because then either you bring the jar home or you throw the jar away, and then you have all the eggs that you could possibly need. Even if you only need a little bit, we just like do a little pour, and then you have more for the next day. The
That's awesome.
secrets. Yep.
I feel like Crock Pot Liners is going to be the title of this episode.
Yeah, sure. we have a lot more secrets than that, but I just
Crock pot liners and wheel bearing grease. That's it. There you
Yes.
go.
Yeah. Do we have anything else? I mean, I feel like we could probably keep going for another hour, but we should probably put a bow on this and then solicit to our impressive listener base, which has also evolved and matured,
Mm-hmm.
and would probably
I
look
love
pretty
that.
good in a Carmen Gia. But
Let's hear what you guys have to say.
Okay, this is not me gigablasting. This is totally Chris and Chrissy gigablasting on this
The
one.
CNC Gigablast Factory.
Yep,
Feel
here
it.
we
There
are.
it is.
Hi, thanks.
Hey,
Welcome back to Everyone
just-
Racers.
Yeah, thank you. It just needed to take that little time out or something.
I'm not going
Tim's
to
go
mock.
ahead and put those new Edelbrock heads on the Chevy 350 project while we were gone.
Oh,
Well,
look, they're
I'm
on.
gonna come over here and show you the latest wheels from Boyd Coddington.
Obviously, we
Oh, and
have
look,
nothing else to
Tim's-
say.
Yeah, and look, Tim's done. He's completely rebuilt this 454, and it's making 789 horsepower.
That's it.
400 hours of paint and body work later.
Yep.
Or one
we're
commercial
done.
break. There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So, but I was saying, like we could go for another hour, but I feel like this is the time when we asked our listeners, what did we miss? What's your
Oh,
trick?
yeah.
What did you start doing that you don't do anymore or started doing? And, some stuff that has evolved. Please get a hold of us in all of the places and all of the things.
Or what do you do that you wish you would change, but you haven't had the energy to do it?
I love that.
If you had to do it again, what would you change? That's
Yeah, or you just like now you're
I'd be
thinking
in a
about
Rive and
like
Drive. That'd be better.
or no, but I like Tim's idea is that like if you have that seat that you're like don't love that, like it's just not working for me. Yeah, post up, because either we might have an idea for you or just laugh at you.
Yep.
probably
Both are
both.
fun for us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's time to share those skeletons. Let's hear it, boys and girls.
Ah, all right. Do we have any of the JT, HSBT, OTS goats?
So
jogger?
much.
Well, this whole show was kind of those things.
Yes, that's
Like,
That is
fair.
true.
I think the crock pot liners there's your just a tip. Use crock pot liners. There you go.
I'll
Like-
give you just a tip. If you get a puppy, buy those mesh shark handling gloves and save yourself a lot of pain.
Shark handling?
Yeah, you know the chainmail
Chainmail,
gloves that you
yeah.
put on.
I mean,
Actually-
thick welding gloves might work too.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Or the ones they
Fair.
use for oyster shucking. That
Yeah. Those are
Right?
definitely chainmail.
I'm just
Actually, I-
picturing-
buy some of those.
The Crock Pot
picturing-
Liners thing has bled over into like my regular life because when we do potlucks at work, I take
Yeah.
Crock Pot Liners because
Duh.
I'm not cleaning that thing out at work.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Back to the gloves. I'm picturing Tim trying to pet his cute ass puppy and these big gloves, like, and the dog's like, no, like, what are these gloves coming at me?
Stop hitting me with 20 pounds of metal. I thought you loved me.
Ow! Don't you love me?
All of a sudden, I'm in a medieval sword fight.
Or a slap fight.
Oh. We have
That's a
not made it happen yet, and I don't think it'll be until the end of May. But we know that we want to get Chris Ray on here, but he's going down. He's doing Miami. He's one of the marshals down there with that.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah. Eric Rude wants to come back on the show. And Chris and Chrissy have gigablasted again. And just today, Kevin Madsen, who I believe we've talked about before, he's a professional testing development driver, runs the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Cup. He's a driver's coach, a fantastic human being. And he's got a person who is a postman and is now a full-time amateur racer. So clearly they made a bunch of great financial decisions and then made a terrible financial decision by starting to race cars. So we've got a lot of stuff in the hopper. None of it is going to be for next week. But if you've got show notes or show ideas, do we know what we're going to do next week?
We usually come up with
No.
ideas.
we'll come up with an idea.
We absolutely will. All
100%.
right.
Right. Hopefully you don't gigablast like we did.
And on that note, thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Gigablasties.
Join us in the world of driving, racing, and building because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hated us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text us at 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram at everyone.racers, YouTube and Facebook under Everyone Racers, or even Reddit at /E1R. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up, unless, like us, there is no shiny side, then just keep those wheels moving.